Hello, my friends. Down here at what used to say Bankers Hall Club, front of the wall, high security. Bringing some compassion into the bank today, okay? Compassion. 2 words: fear and lack. Or lack of fear. Which do you choose? There was an initial group of old men that, and there still is, that tried to think that they can maintain some kind of semblance of control because of their intelligence over the human population and even manipulate Mother Earth in some ways, but that's impossible. But the idea that they had a plan of some kind, right? What did that plan start with? Like, what was their fear? Okay? Because they're fearful. In fact, they're more fearful now than they've ever been, because they know that, the lights come on in too many people, and that there's no stopping this now. The whole idea of government or control of the minds of the masses has been revealed. Just the word itself, it was always there. We just had to wake up to it. So why were they so fearful? Because they knew there's a couple of limitations, right? A couple of limits that we have. One is that we can't leave this heavenly plane of existence that we live on. Nobody's ever been to the moon or Mars unless they call some other piece of land, Mars or the moon, that's in our realm, not out in space. When they discovered that and the limitations of that, they started scratching their heads and like, holy shit, the population thing is going to be a problem, isn't it? Because we only have this much space. So they started thinking about population control. That's all based on fear too, right? Fear that we wouldn't eventually figure out that we don't need to have 7 or 8 or 10 kids. And we did. The population of human beings is actually decreasing, believe it or not. You hear that? Think about security for a second. Who wants security more? Okay? Who wants sovereignty or who wants safety and security? Governments and the banks and, people that think they have stuff. They sure want more security, don't they? That's fear. Rather than sovereignty, rather than divine natural activation. Sovereignty, living without fear, knowing that eventually we all die. Number 2, that's the other limitation we have. And that eventually, or not eventually, that we can't leave this heavenly plane of existence where we live. So from that initial fear of lack came, hey, wait a minute, if we're afraid of lack, then we can use that on the minds of the people and get them fearful of lack and of death and build a story around it. It was that simple. Post Golden Age, because I do still believe that we lived in a golden age for hundreds of years when the last guy and his sweetheart, Jesus and Mary, overrun the system, got enough people talked into saying, you don't need government. We can create whatever we want. And they followed him. And then there was a long time when those two, Jesus and Mary Christ, did light. I don't know what their last name was, but, it could have been Christ. But it's like, it was 2 of them. And that's another story that got delusional into this whole patriarchal couple of old guys making up stories and erasing other ones, you know? Jesus couldn't have ascended without Mary, and Mary couldn't have ascended without Jesus. They were like teaching each other. And then they ascended together. Had some kids and started a new world. Without fear. Golden age that we lived in for hundreds of years until I don't know what happened. Maybe it was Mother Earth that shook things up. Who knows? Or, you know, Satan got into the minds of too many and they started fighting each other, thinking in terms of lack. I don't know for sure when the switch happened, but I know that it happened now again, and that the switch has happened now again, and that we're on track again. Okay? We're back in the golden age. The ones that were the most fearful, and the politicians that are the most fearful, following along each other because they don't know what else to do. They can't act in sovereignty. They don't know how to lead anymore. They're scared. So compassion. Thought I'd bring a purple shirt and purple tie into the bank to give the boys and girls with all their cameras compassion today. Hi, how are you? Equinix. That's the new sign in there. They just opened the door. This guy's part of the refrigeration unit because they have to have mega refrigeration units where they do this computer stuff, right? Swift terminals. It's like cryptocurrency. Somebody was telling me the other day, I think it was Kelly actually, said she was in a place where they were mining cryptos. So it's all computer generated digits and whatnot, you know, like, but the amount of power they use to keep those computers cool in the containers they're in, put them in those containers, it's just huge. It's just like a mega draw on energy, you know, just whatever energy source they're using, probably like petrochemical or, you know, wind power, or not so much wind power. Well, in southern Alberta we have a fair bit of wind power, but the dams, that kind of stuff, all stuff that we don't need because, again, there's no lack of energy. Tachyon energy is in the air, it's moving around, and when we collect it in these towers on the silicon and pump it into the grid, nobody wants to believe me that happens, but it does. There's no lack. There's a limit, but we figured out that limit. And they helped us figure it out back in the 50s when they tried to blow a hole in the in the top of this thing that we live in, you know, in the bubble. Didn't work. Couldn't get out. Crash rockets into it and stuff like that. Didn't work. So we are living in a limited space. Is it big? Damn right it's big. A lot bigger than anybody that we know knows. They know that it's bigger, so they have like hiding places and stuff, but if they really get scared, they can go there and hide. If their stories aren't working for them anymore. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm sorry you're so scared of death and of lack. I'm talking to, you know, the big guns that think they've got this thing still in their hands. You don't, because there is no death and there's no lack. Well, there's death, but why be afraid of it? When you think in terms of body, mind, and spirit, spirit never dies. And the spirit is that spark of the divine that connects our pineal gland and our heart and our God brain. You know, it's like all different threes, but that spirit never dies. Okay, that's good for today. Just wanted to pop in and give a little compassion to the banks, give a little compassion and patience to Trump and his crew as they keep moving along too. He's coming back in August, so don't be afraid, everyone. I know I want to rush things sometimes because I know what the end is. It's complete and it's perfect. And it's abundance for all because there's no lack. That's what the end of this story is. And then that's the beginning of the next one. Because it just keeps going. Because there's no lack of stories either. With abundance, sovereignty, health, love, and euphoria for all. I'll let you go. I love you guys. Oh yeah, I forgot. Peace, harmony, love. Wait a minute. Peace, harmony, love, abundance, and freedom for everyone and everything every day. Abundance, already, health, love, and euphoria. There we go. I love you. Bye. Conte partero, I mean, not bye. Conte partero means I will leave with you. Don't forget, that's another little screw up.